You're too good for me. How would you feel if somebody asked you that or said that to you? A girl says that to you. You're too good for me. How would you translate that from Womenese to English? Okay, I got to ask that question in one of the summit chat groups. At all of our summits, we start a chat, and those things just go on for years. People asking questions and all kinds of stuff. But, okay, so let's get into this one. Now, as if with all questions, there was a lot of extenuating circumstance I'm not going to put in this one, but I'm just going to ask this simple thing. Let's say you meet a girl and you're dating her, and suddenly she says to you, you're too good for me. What would you think and what would you do? Because those are very different things. What would you think? I'm going to tell you right now is it's always worse than you think. Because most guys, they're pretty nice, right? They're like, yeah, she has low self-esteem, and that's actually what this guy was saying at the beginning was, girls have low self-esteem and she doesn't feel like she's good enough for me. I tell you, man, that is such a mistake to think that. I mean, that is really absolutely not the way to start thinking. Now, could it be possible in all the possibilities of the world? Yes, it's possible. But should it be the first thing you think, right? Like if your car doesn't start in the morning, you know what I mean? What's the first thing you think? Do you think someone put a car bomb in there and forgot to attach the ignition? No, you just think, wonder if the battery's dead, right? You're going to go for the most highly probable thing first, right? So that's what I do with girls. You can't, obviously there's no perfect way to interpret any human interaction, but if you go for the highest probability, you're going to have the highest success, right? Over time. That's what doctors do. Doctors don't necessarily, that's why they can miss a very rare situation. And people go crazy and blame them, but that's actually the way the human mind works, is we're going to go for the most likely thing first. And again, it's not always right, but it's usually worth thinking about, okay? So what is the most likely thing? So the girl says to you, I'm not good enough for you. I'll just tell you my experience, and I want to see what you say in the comments. Have you had a girl kind of say something like that? So my very first thing is not even to react to what she said. My first thing is she's saying something towards breaking up. That's my feeling. Is whenever a girl says that, anything, because there's levels of things, right? You could go into why she said it, but I think the most important, not only the most likely, but the most important is a priority, right? She's breaking up in a way. Or she's putting a major challenge, she's saying kind of an ultimatum, like you got to now read her mind, figure her out, fucking all kinds of bullshit, right? I don't like that. I mean, just personally, a lot of guys put up with a lot of bullshit. My bullshit meter goes off right away when someone says something like that. Because I'm regardless of what she's talking about, she's basically hinting that it's over. So it's yeah, okay. I'm not going to say right away, right? Again, what you think first, okay? So the first thing I'm going to think is, oh, she's ready to break up. Okay, cool. I can get another chick, or, I'll have this day free or whatever. That's kind of my first thought is, oh, okay, this one's maybe not out today, but she's on her way out. Okay, and that is a fact, okay? That is a fact. When a girl says something like that, she's on her way out. And you guys that are married a long time, you might say, oh, my wife said stuff like that, and we're still together. Okay, again, there are exceptions, but was that the end of when she really loved you? That's my question. So the girl could physically be with you, but she's not really with you, right? She really doesn't give a shit anymore. It's like a job she's doing that she hates, right? She needs to do it. She needs to pay the bills. Again, that's not my thing. I don't want to be in a drudgery situation. That just does not interest me at all. I'm not saying I won't take, some pussy from some girl who's, on her way out. I mean, for sure. But at the same time, in my mind, Again, no action, no, the outside, she can't see my face. It's just all going through my head. Is like, I don't like ultimatums. I don't like pressure. I don't like when people say stupid things that they force you to think about without explaining it, right? If the girl said, now here's why it's always worse than you think. Okay, so I had a girl say to me something similar, or I consider very similar. She said, I wish I would have met you, or like, shit, I should have met you decades ago, or whatever it was, years ago. You know, it wasn't decades, actually, years ago. And I said, I didn't know what to think. Because she's like, oh, I wish I would have met years ago, in a frustrating way. She was frustrated when she said that. I found out later she was a stripper and probably a whore in the past. Okay, so she was actually saying, okay, is like, without telling you. See, that's why I don't like these things. A straight up ultimatum, like, if you don't put the peanut butter jar on, I'm out of here because it drives me insane. Okay, fine, I can deal with that. You know, however that is going to work out, it's no big deal. But when the girl just says something like, nuclear bomb, break up, it's over kind of feeling, and then no explanation, like, what the kind of fucking relationship is that? That is a fucked up relationship, right? You're sitting there just, not only did she drop the bomb on you, but there's like, she's not explaining the bomb, right? She's just like, oh yeah, here's the bomb. And she's making you, you know, basically try to get it out of her. See, I don't like that. I do not like that. And again, I don't say anything. You guys are out there talking, explaining what you think. No, this is all going through my head. I might go to the bathroom. I might do whatever I got to do to get a little second to think, right? Pretend like I had a phone call, head outside, just think about what just happened. Okay, that's the key thing. You need to give yourself that moment to think, right? So then I do. I give myself that moment. I don't just rush into it. Like, what do you mean, baby? What do you... No. I'm fucking... That is right there is... That's red line. That's big stuff. I need to give myself some time to feel, okay? Because a lot of times it's how you feel, because you can feel when she's trying to break up, or you can feel when she's lying. You have an instinct, right? You have intelligence that's beyond words, right? As a man. So you got to like think, well, what's really going on here? What is the obvious thing in front of my face, right? Because that's what it is. It's not like genius. It's just like, it's right in front of your fucking face, right? What is she saying, right? Okay, so in my case, in that one girl's case, is that she was saying, without saying, is that she totally ruined her life. And I had no idea. And she's feeling bad for herself because, quote unquote, she didn't meet me before. But the truth is, what she's really saying is she was guilty because she was lying her ass off, okay, about her past. Now, of course, I figured it out from that clue and one more clue. But, you know, it's like, dude, it's worse than you think. You gotta think that. It's fucking worse than you think, okay? So when a girl says something, don't think, oh, she's probably a total angel. You know what I mean? Like, she's probably a total angel. I'm probably like, no problem. You know, I can't imagine what's going to go. She's probably flying around in heaven, you know, with little, you know, what do you call it? Rainbows and unicorns and shit. It's like, no. This bitch is now either confessing something or, see, it's illogical. See, so it's playing on your manly sense of helping, right? You want to help. You want to be a nice person, right? So that's the thing, is that's how they play, right? That's how they do it. They're like, you know, they're like, oh, this guy is now going to...
Starting route to Pioneer Street.
Okay, sorry about that. You know,
at the next stop sign, take a right.
You guys can follow me on this walk here. So, yeah, don't let this kind of thing go. I guess my main advice is, I don't have much time to make this one, is feel what she's saying. Feel, okay? Because the girl's words are not going to be honest, okay? And let's face it, who is honest about stuff like this? Something's going on. She either cheated on you, she found out, the other possibility with this guy is that she found out he had different girlfriends, and she's like trying to break up. And it turns out this girl is actually a bar girl too. But maybe a lot of bar girls, they have this weird thing where they'll pick one guy and they pretend like they're innocent with that guy. I mean, I don't just mean with him. I mean in her own mind. Like they like role play what they would have done if they hadn't become a whore, you know. And you don't want to be that guy because it's very tricky, especially with the apps these days. You know, guys can bag on you for not knowing, but sometimes you just can't know. There's no way of knowing. You know, there's no way of knowing a girl's history sometimes. I mean, that's straight up reality. There just isn't. There's no record. And if she doesn't let it out, if she's smart, how the hell would you know? You're going to be, next thing you know, married with 2 kids, figuring out, holy shit, this girl was absolutely not what she said, right? And I just think that's a tragedy. I mean, I just think that's, I really think, again, if the world were fair, and that's good to always remember what you would do if the world were fair, the way it would be, okay? I'll tell you the way it would be is a judge would say, wait a second, I know you got 2 kids and everything, but you absolutely lied about everything about who you were, knowing this guy wouldn't stay with you if you would have told him the truth. So basically, not only does he have a choice if he wants the kids or not, but you got to pay him for his time. You wasted like years of this guy's life and whatever you took from this guy. Basically you deceived this guy, and now you're playing the victim. But hey, don't deceive people. How about that? That's what I would say. That's what a judge should say. Now, I'm not saying they should take the kids. That maybe is another issue. But all I know is that it matters. Okay. And it doesn't matter in a little bit. You're important as a guy. I mean, girls are important too in their world, right? Everybody is, has value. And the thing is guys never get that. You're important. Your life matters. How you feel matters. How you spend this very short time on earth matters. And if you get totally fucked over and you're on the verge of taking the rights, it matters. It really matters. And this stuff can really hurt. Even if you're fucking, supposedly red pill as shit, you can get really fucked up. And that's the last thing I'll say is that you need to be able to admit that you're not doing well. If you want to keep improving, understanding life, you got to be able to say, hey, I do not know, right? Like, I don't know sometimes, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm losing it or whatever. You got to be able to say, hey, things aren't perfect, right? And not always put on a front, okay? Because let's say you're a guy with a lot of girls, you're going to say, oh, I got all these other girls. And then, but this girl, that doesn't matter, okay? I know for a fact from my own life, like how you feel about one girl doesn't matter if you have other girls. It's just an excuse you put up to say, I guess it's a fair thing to say because you're saying, hey, I do have other things going on. But how you feel about this one girl can destroy you, okay? So don't kid yourself on that one. You could have 10 girls and there's one girl who drives you, to the grave. It's true. It is absolutely true. The idea that many girls is going to save you from one girl is total, utter bullshit. It can help at times, but to think of it as a locked the box safe 100% situation, zero, no. I would lean towards saying it doesn't matter. That's how much one girl can affect you despite having other girls, right? So in that way, everybody's in the same boat. Every guy can be taken down, right? Every guy can be taken down by the right chick. And I always say that. Every man has his kryptonite. So you got to be able to admit it when you got something going on. And I'm not saying this is going on with this guy, because it's definitely not the case. But it can happen, right? So don't fall into it. A girl tells you that she's too good for you. What would I do? It's going to depend on the way she says it. If she says it nicely, I would probably say something like, what's behind that? What are you really telling me? Are you leaving me? Are you, well, what is behind that? Like, you don't give me anything to work with on this one. Like, what's behind this? What's really behind your head? And I ask her, like, why did you say that? What was behind that? And then she says, well, this and that. And then I follow up. I do, again, strike when the iron's hot. And again, I don't do it in this voice. I do it in a very soft kind of way that it's like, doesn't seem like she's giving out information, right? It's like you're interrogating a KGB spy back in the Cold War era. You got to be very smooth to get this information, but you want to just quickly go into it. And remember, iron is hot right now. Strike when the iron's hot. She's talking. Here's your chance. It's your only chance to kind of get her to admit something. So however you word it, you want to get her to admit what's behind that statement. Why? Because then you can deal with it. You can't deal with something that's not clear. You can't deal with something that you don't really know what it means. You can't deal with a girl who's not talking and saying things like that. You need to find out what's behind it, because maybe, who knows? Maybe she could be one of those 1 in a million who just has low self-esteem. I don't think so. I've never found that in my life. Like, girls, they always want to bat above their... Even if a girl knows you're a lot better than him, she's not going to leave you because of that. No way. It just doesn't make sense. So I might say something like, in my whole life, I've never met anybody who left somebody because the other person was too good. What's on your mind, baby? Something like that. I might say something like that. Like, tell me what's going on? And then I get her to talk. Okay, so then you're going to have the opportunity in those just few seconds to get the truth, okay? And again, what do? Pause. Let it soak in. Don't respond quickly. Go to the bathroom. Get a phone call. Do something. Have a work call. Just give yourself a little time. Just be very nice. Just say, oh, thank you for telling me. Like, it's been great hearing. I want to respond, but I actually have to go do a quick thing for my company. And I will call you when I'm done. Or even, like, I wouldn't even say that. I just say, like, I got to go to work real quick, And I won't say what I'm going to do after, because I don't know what I'm going to do. It's all going to depend on what I decide it means, right? Now, if I've navigated through the first maze, now I'm in the second maze, right? It's like a video game. You're now against a bigger boss, right? You've gotten through the small guy. Now you're getting to the big boss, right? You might not be there. You might be there. But you got to defeat the big boss. It really takes wise, measured, intelligent thinking. Okay, and that takes time. It just doesn't come out in a second with guys. I think the longer you deal with people, the more you'll have that experience many times, and you will know what to say. But in general, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you might be so sure of yourself in the moment. Or you might be emotional. You might be angry. You might be happy. You might be, if she says something, that makes you feel a certain way, and you're not in a logical state, right? So you're kind of being shocked by all this. Don't underestimate that. Give yourself a few moments. Go do something. Think about it. What does it really mean? What is she saying? And then maybe you could say, what question should I ask her next, right? So you might be setting up for this the bigger boss, right? The bigger statement, right? So just kind of think about what's the wise thing. Go back and then find out. And the reason why you do it, okay, a lot of guys would say, well, why don't you just leave? Well, one, it's not that easy to get pussy. I mean, come on. How many guys have like 100 girls trying to fuck them every night? It's you got to be really famous and rich for something like that, right? Let's face it, pussy doesn't grow on trees. You got to work for it. You don't have that many. You do want to stretch them out as much as you can, right? You don't want to lose one that's, boning you good, treating you good, just because you made a mistake, right? And also, too, you want to learn. And that's the thing you're doing. By going through the process, even if the girl isn't really worth it, it's worth it for you, because here's your chance. Girls test you, they teach you, okay? They teach you by saying things, and then you make mistakes, and then you learn, and you listen, and you talk to people that know what's going on, and you will make wiser decisions, and then you'll get tricked on the second one, right? You'll be like, okay, I did this, and then that was good, then I got fucked on that one, right? And you're like, okay, what do I do on this one? And eventually, you're going to understand life better. And ultimately, that's the goal. The goal is not to get her back or lose her or whatever. The ultimate goal is that you come out of it saying, yeah, I know I'm not as clueless. Because a lot of guys, they really don't know what's going on, honestly. They're so clueless. And you don't want to feel like that forever, right? You want to feel like, hey, I learned something. Like, I know more now. And then that gives you confidence. Okay, I'm going to learn more now, right? I'm going to learn more about things, about the way things really are and how to handle things as a man. And that'll give you confidence. And that confidence is kind of like, it's like a nameless power that you have. It's an almighty power that works in business. It carries over into sports. It carries over into confidence in taking a test. It carries over into confidence in an aggressive situation. It carries over into making better decisions financially. It carries over into feeling better about yourself. It carries over that confidence into getting better friends, right? Because you're confident. You're like, hey, I can figure this out. It's not confidence based on, like women, like just look in the mirror and say you're great. No, it's confidence based on competency, right? And you're competent one more time. And other guys aren't. And you're going to feel like, yeah, hell yeah. You'll be feeling like Mac Daddy here for a little bit. All right, I'm going to my dentist appointment. Great talking to you guys. Looking forward to meeting the guys coming to the Santa Cruz Summit, 25th to 27th. And if you want to come, fucking book a Spirit Airlines flight or whatever, or drive over here. And it's going to be fun. On Saturday night, we're going to stay at my friend's house in Pebble Beach. Beautiful place. Redwoods everywhere. It's on 17-mile drive. Jacuzzi in the backyard. We're going to be barbecuing fish. He's a professional, used to be a professional fisherman. We're going to be buying fresh fish from Ronin Bay. Just making a fucking feast on Saturday night and staying in his huge house. So it's going to be freaking awesome. We're going to need hotel rooms for the other nights, but Saturday night we'll be at my friend's place in Pebble Beach and having a good time, I'm sure. So anyway, thank you, and I hope that was helpful. I hope that helped you to, as you put these different explanations down, helps you to, have that stand up straight confidence where you're like, yeah, I'm better than before. You don't have to be perfect. No one's perfect, right? I know more than I did. I have more confidence than I had, right? I can handle more than I could, right? That's where you want to be. Thanks, guys.